We are now going live. This hangout is now on air live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Chattering with Nicholas Vince, and tonight I'm going to be chattering with Tim Dry and Simon Marshall Jones. Great professional start, Nick.
Yeah, it's going well.
It's going well, absolutely. We're going to be.
Hello.
The absinthe.
We'll come to the absinthe in a moment.
Yeah, makes the heart grow fonder.
We're going to be talking about Tim Dry's book, Ricochet.
Yay!
And in case you hadn't noticed, and I shall just quickly introduce you to Simon. Would you like to say hello and show people what you're drinking?
Yeah. My name's Simon Marshall Jones, and I run Spectral Press and Theatre Mundi, and I like absinthe.
Absinthe, absolutely. And I've seen the bottle, folks. He really is drinking absinthe.
You see me deteriorate.
It gets lower and lower.
And we have got Mr. Tim Dry.
Hello.
Good evening, Tim.
Good evening, sir.
How have you been?
I've been very well. I actually had the first drink for 8 days last night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Boy, do I feel rough today.
You're looking marvellous. You're looking marvellous.
Thank you.
He's looking very, very well.
Gin and tonic.
Oh, yes, that's Craig's
I mean
favourite.
tonic.
Tonic? No,
Yes.
gin, no, of course not. No,
Some
absolutely.
tonic for the troops.
Tonic. That reminds me of one of the stories in the book, come to think of it, but never mind.
Never mind.
Never mind. We will come back to that in a moment. Just before we carry on, I just wanted to update folks with a few things and mention next week's show, which is going to be about the new movie in which I am acting, called The Haunted. And I'm going to be joined. I really should have done my speech exercises beforehand, shouldn't I?
Yes, red lorry, yellow lorry.
Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. I could do it for a moment. I'm going to be joined by Sean Anthony and 3 other members of the cast. Kate Davies, Cengiz Dervis, and Jessica Felice. We're going to be talking about the Haunted and what it takes to actually put together a new independent gothic horror romance. It's going to be really good fun. Filming in Wales in the next couple of months.
Oh, unlucky.
Oh, they've got the new Pinewood studio. Yeah, well, I don't know. I won't tell you where we're going to film yet. I don't think that's been officially announced. But yeah, so. Also coming up next month, I haven't got the dates for these yet, I'm just waiting for the date to be confirmed, but I'm going to be joined by Jen and Sylvia Soska.
Yay!
Hey! Oh, Tim and I adore them. And Daniel Way. And the reason I'm talking to those 3 is because it's Kill Crazy Nymphos Attack. The very graphic novel.
What's not to love, eh?
I know. I've seen some pages. It looks wonderful. And we're going to be talking about then their Kickstarter project and what people can expect from that. But if you haven't seen it, say again, Simon.
It's a romance, is it?
It's a yes. It's
a rom-com.
It's a rom-com. You can tell from the title. And incidentally, if you haven't seen their Kickstarter video, that's 3 minutes. That's really worth watching. It's one of the funniest Kickstarter videos I've seen. So we'll be doing that. I'll also be doing a couple of original versus remake programs as well. I'm going to be doing The Evil Dead and The Thing versus The Thing from Another World. In other words, not the 90s, 80s version, sorry, 70s version versus the most recent remake, but against the original black and white version. The other thing I wanted to just say is that if there are any independent filmmakers watching this, and I think there are some few, you may stumble across it, I am going to start a season of shows where I'm interviewing. I can't speak at all. It's ridiculous. I need a new brain. It's not new teeth. I need a new brain. I'm trying to say independent filmmakers.
There you go.
Yeah, there I go. I'd like to bring on board writers, directors, actors, camera people. This is partly why I'm doing The Haunted. really so that people can share their knowledge and have fun and promote their films, and all talk about their films. So if you're an independent filmmaker, you've got a film that people can watch online, and you'd like to come along and chat to me about it and what it took to actually get it made and what's involved, then I'd be really interested in having you on the show. You can just message me or via Facebook or through Google Plus, whatever. Okay, cool. All right. The other quickly before I start all this is please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Over 100 people have done this so far, which is quite extraordinary as far as I'm concerned.
Brilliant.
So yeah. Oh, I've got a
You've got a
I've got a message from Don Pettit who says, "No video as if yet." Now that's really interesting. As far as I'm concerned, we're broadcasting live. So I'm wondering if, no, as far as I'm definitely seeing people. That's slightly worrying if we're not. Bear with me just 2 seconds, folks.
Oh, we're just talking amongst ourselves.
Yeah, we'll just talk amongst yourselves whilst I'll check exactly what's going on that. Why Don is saying no video yet. As far as we're concerned, I wonder, Don, can you actually hear us? It'd be interesting to know. Yeah, okay. That's very interesting. We'll carry on as if people can see us, because I'm going to assume that they can. If they can't, Tim's got his camera up to help. That really, hopefully, will help. We'll assume that it is actually doing what it's supposed to do, and I'm hoping it's just Don who's got the problem. I'm having difficulty opening other windows anyway. Cool. Anybody else who can't see, please, or if you are seeing video, please just put messages on the Google Plus or the YouTube channel. But according to my system, we're streaming. Okay, cool.
Right.
We will carry on. Simon, I'm going to start with you, if I may, to give us a little bit about the background of Spectral Press.
Right.
And yeah, Simon, and I have just got a message from somebody saying they can see and it's fine, so I'm not quite sure.
Yay!
Yay! Simon, what can? Sorry, Don, it's you. Simon, tell me about Spectral Press. How long has Spectral Press been running?
It's now in its 5th year, and it was. I started publishing in 1990 when I started a music fanzine called Fractured. Industrial music, avant-garde and all that noise and whatever. That lasted 3 issues. Then I went to university, didn't have enough money to publish it, and then I let it go. But in 2010, I attended my first ever convention, and somebody handed me 2 chapbooks. Nicholas Royal handed me 2 chapbooks because I was a book reviewer then, and he said, "Oh, review these for me if you want." And I said, "Okay." And as I was reading, I thought this is a wonderful way of showcasing a writer's work without people having to go either to get a book, a full book, or a collection. They could get an idea of what they were about. And so I published my first book by Gary Mann, What They Hear in the Dark, in January 2011. Then one every quarter from there on, and I started publishing novellas the following year, and then after that I started publishing collections and started Spectral Screen, which has a book about the ghost story for Christmas.
Right.
In the 70s. I know Lawrence Gordon Clark, the director, and he provided the intros to each story. We reprinted all the M.R. James stories in the book, and then he provided little anecdotes about what went on, the little technical details, some unpublished photographs and stuff like that. And then this year I launched Theatre Mundi, which is basically those stories which don't fit into the Spectral remit. Because Spectral's much about ghost stories, horror, and that sort of thing. And as people will undoubtedly realise when they read Tim's book, there aren't any ghosts in there.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Simon, I'm just going to have to ask you to speak up a bit. I'm afraid people are having difficulty hearing you. I know you're a very quietly spoken gentleman.
Yes. But
Give him another absinthe, he won't be.
would you prefer me doing it in semaphore?
Could you sign it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So what I mean, basically, Simon, what you were saying is for those. Let me just recap for those who you started Spectral Press 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and you were handed a chap book by a gentleman called Nicholas Royal, who I've met a couple of times
Yeah.
back in the 1980s and actually quite recently.
Yeah.
And we were now actually. Can you explain to me what a chap book is? I don't know if everybody knows what a chap book is.
It's essentially it's a single story, short story, published in pamphlet form. So rather than being a full book or a full collection, it's just one single story, self-contained, and it's published in 20, 30 pages or whatever, and then it's published like that with a nice cover and what have you. So yeah, it's a very cheap way of introducing people to a writer's work.
Why is it called a chap book?
Here's my history,
Hey.
Cat. Apparently, in medieval times, chap men were people who roamed around the country selling books to the nobility,
Okay.
and then they eventually became chap men, and then that's where the name chapman comes from.
Okay.
And of course, it was only the nobility who could afford to buy books, and in fact, could only
Still it is, yeah.
well, yeah, and also the ones you could read.
Yes.
Yeah, which is obviously fairly important. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I did have pretty pictures in there as well sometimes, but and that's so. A chapbook is essentially a sample. Back then, they would have like passages from the Bible or whatever, small samples of the book they were selling, and they would give them to nobility, and they would say, "This is what we're offering," and they would order books from there. They pay for the books and have them bound and what have you from there.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you for that history lesson. That's very interesting. So Simon, how did you come to meet Tim?
I was probably
Try and watch.
yeah. I think it was probably actually through the
BFS.
the BFS, the British Fantasy Society get-togethers. This happened in London once every 6 months or so, and of course Barbie Wilde. I knew Barbie Wilde by that point, and I think we were at one in fact when Tim was there.
Yeah.
And then we just started talking about stuff, and before I knew it, Tim said, "I have this novella I want published." He had already self-published it. I do believe that's right.
No.
Okay, but anyway, he'd already had this novella written, and he sent it to me, and I said, "Yeah, simple as that."
Simple as that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read it, and it was like a breath of fresh air because it just went barreled along from the very first word to the last. It just didn't let up, and I thought I've got to have this book. So
Brilliant.
So I sent a very sweet letter to him and said, "Yes, I'll have it, thank you."
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, that's good." So yeah.
Cool. Cool. Well, and speaking of the book, I think we should move on to actually hearing some of the book. And Tim's very kindly agreed to read us.
It's come round at last, isn't it?
It's come round at last. Well, I thought, kind of. We'll just allow you to. Yeah. Clear your throat. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Lovely.
Lovey-dovey. Put your glasses on.
All right, here we go.
So what bit are you going to read then, eh?
It's a secret. Have we started yet?
We started whenever you're ready, Mr. Dry.
Right. Dorian Hiscock's stoned eyes are red, and their pupils dilated and unfathomable. There are little flecks of unhealthy-looking spittle in the corners of his mouth. He sighs with all the ennui that a jaded visionary feels that he has earned, and runs a hand through his greasy, nicotine-coloured forelock, and then places the still smouldering crack pipe back in the ashtray. He leans his pale and asymmetrical face close across the table and whispers to me, "Vehement moths drawn to a black flame. Hearts melting into tears. The rise of Atlantis on widescreen 3D TV. The wild dance of emerald sperm in the nostrils of drowning horses. Clouds over Japan as the cherry blossoms turn to blood. Angels in black rubber. Jesus being filleted by Pontius Pilate. The sinewy uncoiling of a metal serpent. Naked girls with green fur entwined on a bed of thorns. Robots with a sense of humor. A crystal skeleton broken in half. Blonde vampire sirens ready to kneel. Twin suns in an ultraviolet sky. Souls encrusted like coral. Mormons with handguns and no teeth. The sound of fish with arms crying as they leave the swamplands. Tribes of murderous, decaying clowns roaming empty and dark streets worldwide. Paris Hilton, skinless in the gutter. Books on fire in the streets of New Germany. Mindless machines composing mirthless music. The whispers of leather-winged swans. A beautiful flower with teeth for petals. These are the things that I see." "Jesus! And you smoke that stuff to relax?" I exclaimed to him, and then instantly regret it, as it could be construed as being just a bit too overly bloody familiar. I mean, it's not every day that you get to hang out with a literary legend in the bizarre comfort of his own home, is it? That's one of the lighter bits.
That's one of the lighter, but well done, beautifully.
Thank you.
Beautifully right.
Oh, I can see clearly now. The rain has gone. Right, there you go. Anyway.
That's brilliant. I mean, one thing I have to say, and I don't know if I can, I'm actually just going to read a little bit from your book as well, if I may.
Please do.
Because there's a number of things. Actually, just before this, just before the piece that you've read, I'm going to have to hold it at arm's length because of my eyesight.
Not because of the smell. Oh,
no.
I'm working on smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision,
yeah.
No, it smells of new book. It smells a nice new book. I like it. You don't get that from a Kindle.
No.
Man-made mess will defer the next ice age. Church charges premium rates to phone an angel. Plus watching paint dry goes viral. How did you... So this is the first question, Tim, because these are a series of vignettes, stories.
Yes, vignettes is good. I like that.
Vignettes.
It's French.
It's French. We like our French.
Yeah. Goes with lettuce.
And they're broken up by these wonderful, bizarre, look like little newspaper clippings. How did you come? Did you literally just physically go through newspapers and highlight random phrases, or?
To be honest, a lot of them come from the Fortean Times, which is a sort of compendium of weird events that happen globally all the time that we're not aware of.
Right.
I first came across that in the early 70s, and my favorite headline was "Elephant kills clown dressed as a peanut." And for decades I was thinking, was the clown dressed as a peanut, or was the elephant dressed as a peanut? Anyway, I thought it a good notion to break up each section of the book with something dislocated, but somehow relative to what you're going to read next.
Yep.
Or not.
No, I just think that when I first started reading, I'm going, what's he doing? These are real. And they are just completely and utterly bizarre. I was actually saying to one of the things I love about this book is that I was mentioning this to Simon earlier on. There is something actually very real about it, because you are taking such an acid eye to our
Oh,
current society.
yes. Operative word, I think.
Yeah. And it really is just wonderful.
Thank you.
And this stuff feels real. It really does feel very real.
Thank you.
How long did it take to write Ricochet?
It actually goes back quite a long way. I was trying to write a stage play, believe it or not, back in the 90s called Ricochet, which involved if you know Marie Kelly, who Jack the Ripper, she was his last victim.
Yeah.
If her child came to birth and grew up, she or he would be an adult in the 1940s, so they would be living through the Blitz in London. Now, if that couple had another child, they would end up in a mental home in Surrey sometime in the 1960s. I thought, stuff that, The original Ricochet in written form was about a man who goes through a portal in a cemetery and ends up in a kind of mythical Parisian cafe, who meets Baudelaire and Jim Morrison.
Right.
And he suffers from OCD, yeah. And he manages to find a way to get home and to go back and forth. But I got sort of somehow stuck after the first fantastic introduction. I thought, that's great, now what? So I thought, well, why not cut it up into bite-sized pieces and throw them into a pot and see what happens. So that's what I did. And then I thought, oh God, I've got this other bit. A lot of it is based on dreams that I've had. Someone said the other day, oh, it's very autobiographical, isn't
it? Simon and I were saying exactly the same thing before.
Yeah, but that is kind of disturbing. I do not know my mother had mechanical snakes. No, I think what you or my friend meant was that the way I talk and the way I maybe express myself is inherent in the book. So to answer your question finally, it didn't take that long. It was just a matter of collating bits. I mean, my favourite character in the book is Trojan Darkly, the horrible London gangster with the prosthetic legs.
Yes.
I mean, what? My dearest friend Barbie often says, Timmy, where does this stuff come from? And I'm saying, whoa, you wrote the Venus complex, honey. Where did that come from? Stuff comes, doesn't it? It's hovering somewhere in your subconscious, and through your fingers or your brain, it comes out onto the page. So it didn't take that long, or it took the whole of my life.
Of course, absolutely. But oddly enough, my next question was, how biographical is it? I would think particularly, I was thinking of the two boys on the beach. Now that because it feels so realistic, and it does. I mean, as one of the things I love about this, and if you guys haven't read this book, please rush out and buy it now. It does have this quality of both dream but reality.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I described it as almost Burroughsian, and like Hunter S. Thompson had got together and just written something on, while they were on something, and that this is what we got. It's like an automatic typewriter with words that are stuffed in. Right, sort that out yourself, and then
wow,
like this.
See, that's very interesting. I find it enormously flattering that anyone compares what I've created to Burroughs or Hunter S. Thompson or whoever.
Saki, in my case.
Sorry?
Saki, H.H. Munro. One of my favourite. Yeah.
It's one of my favourite drinks with sushi. I don't know. It's not stream of consciousness. It's not like I just do automatic writing or something. I think it was losing the fear, I think one of the reasons it became easier was because of the short stories I've written for various anthologies. Thank you, Dean M. Drinkle.
Uh-huh.
Ding, ding, ding. But suddenly, you think I can actually say whatever I want here. You know, I don't have to censor myself. I don't have to think, oh, they won't go for that. The two boys with the, you know, the clown heads, whatever, was actually a dream I had. And what I take from my dreams is one freeze frame. And the one I got from that was these two, I don't know, maybe 10-foot high clown heads in the sea by the edge of a beach, like Beachy Head or somewhere like that, you know, which is very cliffy and pebbly. And these two massive clown heads just in the water. It's like, geez. So what would you do if you're a young boy? What are you going to do? You're going to go, oh no, I must go home and tell Dad. No, I'm going in. No, don't go in. You don't know what's in there. I don't care. I'm a boy. Fuck you. You know. Oh, I said the F word. Sorry.
That's okay.
So it's about exploration, and a lot of these little vignettes in the book are about people losing the fear and doing something, be it good or bad. You know.
It sounds like Blackpool.
It sounds like Blackpool. Ooh.
Well, oddly enough, because I was working down in Bridport where they filmed Broadchurch recently. That was the beach that I was with, exactly as you described, with the cliffs.
Yeah.
And the but yeah, I love that. I really do love that story. One of the things I meant to ask you about the 40, what I now know are 40 quotations from 40.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but I think yes.
Jiggle and juggle, half and
jiggle
half.
And juggle, yeah. Okay. Which actor's voice do you hear reading them? Because they've got a very different voice to the vignettes, the stories themselves.
Wow. Gosh. Well, it would have to be an Englishman.
Yeah.
Churchill.
Churchill. No. What, the dog that advertises?
The dog that advertises.
That's the one.
Oh, God.
Apples from the sky in Coventry. Weird stuff with squirrels and machine guns.
There we go.
In the Bermuda M25.
I hear Nicholas Berman Vince actually reading most of those. Strange enough.
I came up with Roger Allam. Roger Allam is a British actor who
right.
You hear him a lot on radio.
Are you related?
Not in the slightest.
No, he's not paying you any money.
No.
Honestly, Nico, I don't know anyone.
Anyone. I was wondering, do you have
Tim Roth?
Tim Roth would be, yeah.
I'm joking. I'm obsessed with the series Lie to Me.
Oh, me too.
Oh, I'm halfway through season 2. I'm doing actually 5 episodes a night. That's my life. Going out, having fun, forget it. I'm halfway through season 2, you bitch. I love it. It's fantastic. It's about body language. Oh, hello. What's happened?
I'm still here.
Oh,
I'm still here.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm seeing Simon. There you go. Anyway, forget
that.
Right.
Tell us about Lie to Me. Go on, tell me about Tim Roth and Lie to Me.
Well, as an ex-mime artist, you know, the idea of someone who is employed to use their skill for reading people's faces and their body language is very appealing, especially if they're employed by the FBI, so they get to sort out some seriously dodgy people, you know. But something about Tim Roth's performance is extraordinary, because when he went to the audition, he thought, I'll do it as an American. And they said, you know what, Tim, we actually prefer your real voice. So he thought, thank fuck for that. And now, because he was doing it as himself, he could actually really go for it. And his body language in that is extraordinary, because if you look at the season 1, you know, the pilot, he's slightly posh, and he's a little bit sort of, yeah, you know. By season 2, he's all over the place, you know, he's become a total geezer. But the Americans are going, what the fuck is this guy? Huh? But they love it. And every episode is self-contained, so it's not like you think, oh God, I've got to see the next one. You know, he's just extraordinary. He walks like a simian. I think maybe his role in Planet of the Apes, whichever one it was, sort of rubbed off a bit, you know, because he is a bit, you know. But then I thought, look at Tim Roth in The Hit.
Yep.
Look at Tim Roth in Rob Roy, great underplayed movie with Liam Neeson and Jessica Lange. And Tim Roth is this sort of effete dandy, but he's a vicious, killing swordsman. It's a great movie. I'd strongly recommend it. Watching Millions.
Have you seen Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead?
Funnily enough, I haven't, but I have it. I'm about to watch it in the next day or so.
Are you?
Yes.
It's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman and him. Yes. And they are, I mean, I grew up, I studied that play when I was at school, so I was 16, 17 years old. It's a Tom Stoppard play, for anyone who doesn't know. It's a wonderful film.
Yeah.
And based in Shakespeare, Shakespeare's Hamlet. It's pretty. It is wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Simon, have you seen Lie to Me or?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen any of it. I've seen the beginning of Guildenstern and Rosencrantz Are Dead, but never got past it because I think I was just probably drunk at the time.
That'll be the absinthe. that'll.
Which was long before I even heard of absinthe. So.
Oh, okay. All right then.
But
right.
Going back to Tim Roth and to Gary Oldman, I really love those actors because especially not Tim Roth, Gary, because Gary Oldman is just, he has such a vast range. You look at the Fifth Element, where he's the villain, and it is a cartoon villain, and he plays it to perfection as a cartoon villain. Then you go to something as popular as the Batman movies with Christian Bale, and he's a perfect commissioner, and he has he can transpose these different personalities so well that you often think they aren't the same person.
Yeah. Well, that's the mark of a true actor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Tim Roth in the Reservoir Dogs he was very Tarantino-esque in that he was quite over the top.
Yeah.
In his own way,
and Pulp Fiction, of course.
Pulp Fiction, yes.
Yes.
But his very first movie was called Made in Britain, where he played a teenage skinhead.
Yeah.
It was written by, what's his name? Oh, God.
Somebody tell us.
Anyway, so he's dead now. Alan Clark, I think. But he was so convincing, I actually thought I was watching a documentary. It's Trevor. He's a 16-year-old skinhead, right? There is nothing actorly about this performance. It's actually totally real. And I thought, wow, this guy is amazing. Then he did a movie called Meantime, a Mike Leigh movie with Gary Oldman and Phil Daniels. And then he did The Hit with John Hurt and Terry Stamp. And I just thought, this guy's extraordinary. Yeah. Same with Gary Oldman. I mean, Gary Oldman can play Dracula one day, and then you look at him in Leon. Yeah, one of my favorite movies. Yes. These guys are, I mean, I love Ray Fiennes and I love, Jeremy Irons and all the rest of us Brits. But those two, there's something visceral about them,
There is
no prisoners.
I think that's the word, visceral.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the acting comes from inside. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, Let's get back to my book.
Yeah, let's get back to your book. And on that, before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in. I've been receiving a few comments, which I'm going to start on screen.
Tell that Tim Dry to stop swearing. Tell him to keep still for a moment.
From some of the viewers who've been watching us. But before we do that, I'm just going to.
It's time for a commercial break, isn't it?
It's time for a competition, actually. Because we advertised earlier on, and I'm going to do this now just to make sure that I don't forget to do this. I have chosen the question. I gave Tim, three, and I think anybody who's watching this. Okay, so just to explain to everybody very briefly how this works. So I'm going to put a post onto Facebook, onto my Nicholas Vince Facebook page, not the Nicholas Berman page.
No,
I can't say my own.
not the posh one.
Not the posh one, but my professional page. My official, in fact, official.
I don't know what drugs you're on, Nick, but I want some.
I'll send
Send them over, quick.
Oddly enough, a question I was going to ask you after I read your book.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah.
I'm going to put a post on the official Nicholas Vince Facebook page with this question, and all you need to do is comment with your answer. And the question is, and it'll be up until 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. That's 8 o'clock London time tomorrow night. And the question is, in which cult sci-fi horror movie of the 1980s did Tim play an alien monster? So just to repeat, in which cult sci-fi horror movie from the 1980s did Tim play an alien monster? Now, don't put those comments on Google or YouTube; they won't be counted. Don't put them on Tim's page or any shares or Simon's page. Just needs to be on the Nicholas Vince page, and there'll be a nice little picture that just says contest entry, and that's the one you're looking for. And I will put that up as soon as we've finished our show this evening.
And what do they win, Nico?
What do they win? They win a personalised signed copy of Ricochet.
Oh my god! That is so rad.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so unexpected as well.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Well, come on down, kids.
Yeah, come on down, folks, and answer the question, and you can win a signed, not my copy, it's got a pristine new, specially personalized copy for you. Cool. So I'm just going to share with this before we carry on talking some of the comments that have been posted. One is, and I'm going to share, this is from the Infomaniac. Just from the Infomaniac.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Ever thought about doing any Doctor Who Big Finish audios, Tim?
I'm not quite sure what that actually means. What's a Big Finish audio?
Big Finish are the people who do the audio books for Doctor Who.
Oh.
So all the time that Doctor Who was off air, they were publishing audio books.
I thought it was
Big
like
Finish...
a Thai massage parlour thing. Oh, you want Big Finish? You'll come to the right place.
And some of them were written by some of the Spectral authors.
Oh, not that bloody Stephen Volk again, is it?
No.
No. He's everywhere.
Yeah, Mark Morris and Robert Sherman.
Oh, right, okay.
There've been quite a few, and Tom Baker. They got the actors who played the Doctors.
Sorry, to answer the question, Mr. or Miss. No, I wait to be asked. I don't think about that sort of stuff. I'm too out of the loop, I think. But hey,
yeah, okay.
I'm open for offers.
Actually, he does have a follow-up statement. He said you would certainly make a good Sontaran.
What does that mean? What's the Sontaran?
What's the Sontaran? You don't watch Doctor Who, do you, Tim?
No.
That's fair enough.
No, sorry. I mean, sometimes I do. I do like Matt Smith, and I like, what's his face?
Peter
anyway.
Capaldi? Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Or David Tennant? Yeah,
all of them actually.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Apart from the older ones. Anyway.
Yeah.
What's the Sontaran?
What's the Sontaran? He's a big.
He's a big lizard, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's actually a potato. He looks like a potato. And he's got a breathing hole in the back of his neck because they come out of pods.
That's me all over, isn't it?
Because they're clones.
I'm just clearing my throat for a second.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Well, thank you, but no.
Yes. So this, and I'm going to come back to the Infomaniac in a couple of seconds, but there is a comment after your reading, Tim.
Oh, God, yes. Get a job.
Yes, such vibrant prose, standing ovation, and that's from Diane Agar.
I know Diane, sweetheart. Yes, okay. She was standing up to write that.
There's a question from, will you be selling copies of Ricochet at Wales Comic Con?
Absolutely.
Yes, they will be.
Simon.
So, yes,
Of course we will.
yes.
I'll send him loads.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Checks in the post.
Yeah.
Brilliant. No, I'm looking forward to that one. That's on April the 26th in Wrexham. Doesn't do him any good in North Wales. So I'll be there as a Star Wars autograph guest and a writer too.
That's excellent.
Brilliant. Excellent thing. Excellent. Cool. I know.
Right.
Definitely going to be people. There was a comment from Phil Sheard, and this is about, bear with me, I'll just make sure everyone can see this. Love the series. He's talking about Lie to Me. It's brilliant. Paul Ekman is the man behind. Yes, Paul Ekman. So if you want to know more about Lie to Me, I believe it's on Netflix in the UK at the moment.
That's how I'm watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Netflix.
Yeah, great. Good old Netflix. We like that.
Thank you, Philip. That's good. Paul Ekman, yes, definitely the man.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one is Gary Oldman is great. This is from Diane Cockerham, who has also got a follow-up statement as well, which is Richard III on Channel 4 and Tim Dry on here. What a combination.
Yes. I've got to share this, and only Barbie Wilde is privy to this. Way back in the 80s, I thought I might develop a career as an alternative comedian, right? So one idea I came out with was doing the soliloquy from Richard III, now is the winter of our discontent. But halfway, my plug's coming out, hang on. God, my bud's gone.
Tim Dry, unplugged.
Yes. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Halfway through the soliloquy, Sooty would appear from my flies. So I'd be going, and all the clouds that loud upon our house, now in the deep, I couldn't do it, actually, but it's a great idea. You set up this sort of hunchbacked, malevolent monster, and then Sooty appears. Okay, I'll get my cloak.
We mentioned, did we? I think when you have a thing for Richard III. Was it not on your Luggage in the Crypt interview that we discussed the fact that Peter Sellers had done It's a Hard Day's Night in the style of Laurence Olivier playing Richard III?
Yeah, brilliant. I was pipped to the post. Anyway,
yes. Yeah. Okay. Right. Cool. All right. So.
I'm in a car park, by the way.
I will just explain for any Americans who may not.
It's not a sequel, darlings.
It's not a sequel, darlings.
Richard III is not a sequel to the first Richard.
And
oh my God!
The reference for those who don't know is that Richard III, Duke of York, they found his bones underneath a car park, which I thought was an amazing detective.
Bloody hell, I hope you paid for that space, mate. That's 500,000 quid you owe us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a great thing about the British history, and then we put car parks all over the top of it, which reminds me of a song, but never mind, we won't go into that.
Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you pave paradise, you put up a park.
Oh, hello, someone's going bing.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a Facebook thing.
It's a Facebook thing.
Right, moving along now.
There's
the amazing thing that you guys haven't clocked onto is the fact that I'm the one drinking the absinthe.
And you're still sober.
Yes, and the thing is that I've developed this drunkenness through ventriloquism. I drink, you get drunk.
Fantastic. Works for me.
Yeah, as long as you get the hangover in the morning and I
don't, exactly.
Completely works for me.
And you wake up in the gutter.
Yes.
Yeah,
which reminds me of that lovely quotation that we're all of us in the gutter. Some of us are looking up at the stars.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It was Morrissey, wasn't it? Right.
Oscar Wilde. Any one of the two, Morrissey or Oscar Wilde.
Oh, they're so similar, darling.
They are so similar. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, I was talking to Simon a little earlier on before you joined us.
Chatting away, were we?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we decided that you were probably out, doing something.
Oh, I was out
far more glamorous,
falling in the gutter, looking at the stars, wasn't I?
But Ricochet is not the end of this little relationship that you have with Teatro Mundi and Spectral Press, I understand.
It
So
will be after this. That's it, mate. I'll quit. You're disgusting, you are. No, Simon, go ahead.
Yes, there are going to be another series of novellas as a kind sort of what we
sorry, you're dropping,
gone.
Simon. You've
I'm
gone,
dropping.
Simon.
I'm dropping.
You need to shout at us.
Yeah.
All right, I shall shout.
There we go.
Right, no, this is going to be a series of novellas. How many, Tim?
Well, I think we were talking about 6, weren't we?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
Which will follow the stories in the book in Ricochet, and they'll all be interconnected. And at the end of it, we will all have this. The last page of the last book will say, "What the?"
What the fuck?
In very large letters.
WTF?
And answers on a postcard, please.
Exactly. A very large postcard. That'll be my contribution to English literature.
Yes, a fine contribution to English.
Yeah, very fine.
A very fine and extraordinary.
We'll all be wearing yellow T-shirts in 6 months. Actually, Simon, I'm going to have you in black before the month is out.
Well, I have got a couple of black T-shirts.
I see something hanging up behind you, actually.
Yes, that's my exercise bike.
No, what, you wear a coat as an exercise bike?
Yes. Yes,
Right.
It's a cybernetic exercise bike.
Fantastic.
An exoskeleton.
An exoskeleton.
Exo-bike, yeah, brilliant.
Right, I'm just going to encourage, if there is anybody who would like to ask Tim any further questions, because we're going to be finished this wonderful thing fairly shortly.
No,
I will just check that and make sure that I know, absolutely. We could go back to talking about Tim.
I'm starting to get going. I'm just starting to get going.
He's only drunk half a glass. Come on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, I think we might be getting in another question from. Hold on, let me see if.
It's not my accountant, is it?
Oh,
gotcha!
Yeah.
There you are. Right. About my fee. Accountant, I wish I needed one.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, tell me about it. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Well,
Oh, come on, Joe. You've got tons of questions left.
I've got tons of. Apart from the writing, Tim, what else have you been up to? What else are you up to at the moment?
Well, working weekends as a male stripper in Chipping Sodbury, I've actually worn out my codpiece. I need to get another one. I'm going for leather this time.
Are you? I was just thinking that Chipping Sodbury would be quite a good name for a stage name.
Sodding Chipbury.
Sodding Chipbury, yeah.
I went to that Sodding Chipbury, didn't I? It didn't have any mushy peas.
It's okay, your royalties will cover all that.
Oh, thank you, Lord. What else am I doing? Well, I do occasional little bits of acting, very occasional. Actually, my agent phoned me on Tuesday of last week and said, "Hi, Tim, it's Nick." And I go, "Nick, I'm your agent." Oh, right. He sent me for a casting for a commercial, which was in the top 5 of embarrassing moments. Imagine Death as Julie Andrews running across Swiss mountaintops, singing "These are a few of my favorite things." Anyway, I probably haven't got it, but it was just wonderful to get back into that little arena of going for commercials. I did a lot of them in the 80s and 90s. I think I did over 90 of them, but it's been a long time, and so you forget the absurdity of it. You're in a dank room somewhere in front of one bored cameraman, and maybe a casting director, having to be Death running across the Alps as Julie Andrews. Right.
Did you have to sing?
Yes. Actually, the singing bit was pretty cool, actually. It was the leaping and hopping that I had a problem with.
Yes.
I could do the arms out, The hills are alive with the sound of literacy. Anyway, yes, occasional acting. I don't do music anymore. I've done all that. So it's all out there if you want it. But writing is my main form of expression.
Yes.
Cool. And apart from the novellas for Simon, are you working on anything else at the moment?
Well, I have 4 short stories in 4 different anthologies. Sorry, out. The 4th one is coming out in the summer. It's called Demonology. My story is about a podcast with a demon. You imagine a really bored, pissed off. Oh, here we go. Yes. What? What? Oh, how did you become a demon? Oh, for God's sake. Think Alan Rickman in Thingy Bob. Oh,
I Love You.
No. Star Trek, Star Wars.
Oh, Galaxy Quest.
Yes.
Yes.
The pissed off English actor reduced to playing a sort of latex-headed alien. That's me. Anyway, so yeah, no, Nico. In answer to your question, writing is definitely where I'm at, man. Thank you, Simon. I have to say that in all of my creative sphere over the years, be it music, acting, cat juggling, whatever, I've never had anyone say, I want this. Now, Simon, bless him, for all of his absinthe habits and his penchant for yellow T-shirts, actually said, Tim, if I can have this, I want it. And that was like a life-changing thing. Fantastic. Bless you.
Thank you.
If you could send the PayPal payments tonight, that would be good.
That's the cri de coeur to every.
Simon is a star. I mean, he has some great authors.
It's got some.
Stephen Volk.
Stephen Volk.
Yes.
Yep.
Whitstable, fantastic. Paul Kane's Ghosts is a great book. I loved it.
I recently read another one that Paul asked me to write an introduction to it, and that should be coming out later in the year. But I'm not allowed to tell you the name of that one, I don't think. I'm not sure.
Oh.
But Stephen Volk, we may, if anyone's not heard of Stephen Volk, because he did Whitstable. And what's the most recent Stephen Volk one you've just done, Simon?
Well, it's coming out next month. It's Leytonstone, which is about a very young Alfred Hitchcock as a boy of 7, and there's an apocryphal story that Alfred himself used to talk about, where his father took him to a police cell for the night and had the local policeman lock him in there in order to teach him what happened to naughty boys.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen takes that episode, he strings it out, obviously, and he makes a fictional account of what happened afterwards. And in some and what the whole premise is, this is what makes Alfred Hitchcock the man he later became.
Yeah.
And it explains all his particular obsessions within
blondes,
peepholes.
Yes.
There are a lot of peepholes in his work, and power. There's a lot of a person who can have power over another. And it's I mean, Whitstable was good. But it's still the best-selling Spectral book. I've sold, a lot of copies, but this is even better because it's darker. It's darker. And if anyone remembers the Ghost Watch,
yes,
in the 1990s, and the Awakening,
Afterlife,
he was
Gothic.
writer. And Gothic, yeah.
And Gothic, yes.
Yeah,
I hate him, actually.
He's been doing it a lot longer than both of us.
How dare you be so prolific and talented, you bearded bastard!
And he's the author. He's the guy who.
Yeah.
And he's now, pardon me, he is at the peak of his powers. There's one more in the series after Leytonstone. I can't tell you who it is, but I do know who it is, and it's going to be an absolute blinder when it comes out, probably in 2 years. It's
okay.
The perfect finale to the series.
Fantastic.
Wow. Looking forward to that. I have a question for Tim.
Hello.
From Philip Sheard. Bear with me for
Yes.
2 seconds. I'm just going to put this up on the screen. Question for Tim. What film has inspired you the most, or a film that has touched you in some way that has always stuck with you?
Gosh, well, it ain't The Sound of Music, honey.
Yeah, I can
Well,
believe that.
stuck with me, I have to say, Performance by Nick Rogue and Donald Cammell, in terms of influencing the way I approach cinema, or indeed some weird Borgesian philosophy. Yeah, I'm not really influenced by movies in terms of my personal life, but Performance triggered something that I've been striving to articulate all my adult life. Hey, that's deep, isn't it? Blimey, mate. I thought you were going to say, yeah, Taken 3 or Expendables 3. Yeah. No, I love all movies, to be honest. Well, not all movies. That would be silly, wouldn't it? I could live without High Times at Richmond or whatever. No, Performance is a movie that operates on many different levels. It's like a hall of mirrors. If you're a fan of Borges and his writing, or even Antoninato, blimey, he's going a bit deep now, isn't he?
He's going foreign. He's definitely going foreign.
Theatre of Cruelty. Do what? No, that's the movie that triggered a lot in me. Still is my favourite movie of all time.
I've ventriloquism is working.
Absinthe makes the heart grow fonder. Makes the heart grow fondue.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Guys, got any more questions than this? Come on.
I'm sure there are. People are just being
yeah, they're so shy, aren't they?
What's happened? I cannot speak.
I don't know.
Thank you, Simon, for drinking absinthe and making me drunk.
What the hell did you do last night, Nick?
I can't remember.
No. I'm going to
honest,
phone Craig right now.
Find out what the hell I was up to.
What was he up to last night? You're kidding. Not, what, 2 of them? Bloody hell. Okay, I'll speak to you later, love. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. You wait till I get off this call.
Yeah. Ooh, you wait till I get you home.
Tim
needs to have his own show on primetime TV. Right, that's...
I think we all agree with that.
Hello.
Oh. Hold on, Tim's now trying to... Oh.
I hate earbuds.
He hates earbuds, and he's just...
I hate these things,
I know, me too. That's what. Yeah, I had to get one of these. My ears are the wrong shape. They're too small.
Some people have the right ears for earbuds. I don't.
Yeah, I think they're all cloned by Apple. People with the right size for earbuds.
That was from Giddy Gavin.
That was from Giddy Gavin, who is saying, yes, you should have.
Yes.
Right. I do have another question. I'll probably have time for about just a couple more before we finish the show at 8 o'clock, but I'm just going to show the next question. This is from Diane Cockram. Tim, if you could have written any book that has ever been published, excluding your own, which would you choose? You asked for them.
Yeah, you'll come back in about 4 weeks. Bloody hell.
Try what's the most recent book you've read or are reading at the moment?
Well, actually, strangely enough, I'm reading the Spectral book of horror stories.
Ah.
Oh, I've actually swapped my iPad round. Sorry, I'm now looking there, aren't I?
Yes.
Anyway.
Come on.
I can't think of a book I wish I'd written. The Bible. I'd make it into an even more grotesque collection of horror stories. And
have you come across
untruths?
Have you come across the Robert Crumb version of the Bible, the illustrated version?
No, I wish I had.
It's on Amazon. I stumbled across it the other day, and
Fantastic.
it looks. I haven't had I keep meaning to order a copy of it, but it just looks amazing, and it is word for word. It's verbatim. He's just lifted the passages and illustrated them. He hasn't edited them or anything. He's just taken the passages and illustrated them, and of course they're mostly obscene.
Keep on trucking.
Violent. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I used to love Mr. Natural in the 70s. For me, was a great role model.
Dr. Atomic was my role model in the 80s.
Okay.
Which one, Simon? Say again.
Dr. Atomic.
Dr. Atomic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He
This
was
explains a lot.
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Explains the yellow T-shirt.
Yeah.
He's radioactive.
Cool.
Right.
Right.
Sorry about the glitch then. I actually dropped my iPad.
That's quite right. Actually, I'm now becoming more and more fascinated by the picture that we can now see behind your head, Tim,
Oh, what's that?
which looks like Ronald Coleman with about to tongue a skull.
Oh, that's me. Tonguing
Is that-
myself. Same old story, girls. It was actually done by a graphic designer friend of mine way back in the 80s as a kind of Hamlet kind of homage. Oh, right. So you can see that now, can you?
We can see, yes, because of the way you've now. And
Can you see a lenticular print of David Bowie on the wall?
No.
We can. Is that the bluish one?
Yeah, the bluish thing.
Yeah.
That's the Dame, isn't it?
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you took that?
No, I didn't take it. Oh, I wish. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. No, it was a gift. Anyway. His nibs, right.
It's his nibs, right. Okay, we're now on 8 o'clock, which is the official end of the show.
No.
I know. We've had such fun as well.
I know.
I know.
I love you
These
guys.
things have to. I know. And if everyone gives me about, those who would like to, for the next 24 hours, please spread the word that we are giving, when I say we, I mean Simon and Tim are giving away a signed copy of Tim's excellent, marvelous, wonderful book, Ricochet. I really do recommend this as a very dark, humorous, as I say, acid eye view of the world. Please check this out.
It's also available on http://wordpress.wordpress.com.
Well, there's nothing like a : / is there?
I've actually put
Talking of which.
Press.
Hurry up, I've got to go.
That's just our age, Tim.
Oh, God, it is, isn't it?
Right, okay. And on that note...
Yes. It's sort of H flat, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's out of the scale. Right.
Absolutely. Right then, I'm going to say goodnight to Simon. I'm going to say goodnight to Tim. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'll make sure there's a link. In fact, there is already a link to the Spectral Press. Simon, would you like to say goodbye, but say it very, very loudly?
Yeah. Bring me sunshine.
Such a British guy. Tim would like to say goodnight.
Yes. Oh! Thank you for having me. Again.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're looking forward to the new volume.
Thank you, Nico. You're a star. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Simon.
Simon
has opened up a door into a future for me, which I'm eternally grateful for.
Okay.
There you go, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll be round with the payments in about 40 minutes. Yeah, right.
All right then, folks. This has been Chattering with Nicholas Vince. I have been chattering with Simon Marshall Jones. It's too long a name. I can't do it. Right. Simon Marshall Jones and Tim Dry, which is a nice short name. I can say that one.
Yay.
Thank you very much indeed, guys, and we'll speak to you soon. And I'll see everyone else in a week's time when I'm going to be chattering about The Haunted with the cast director and writer of The Haunted, and should be really good fun. And then
I hope you're sober for that one.
So do I. I think I'm just going to do some exit jaw exercises.
Okay.
Absolutely. Good night, folks.